Get ready for the return of the Eldrazi. They are coming back through the blind eternities to Modern Horizons 3, and in this video we are taking a look at some of the recent sales surge pricing that we've seen on many of the individual singles from past sets and what players need to know before they decide to make their purchase. Wizards got something right. I know it may be a first for them, but bringing back the Eldrazi looks like a master stroke of a plan for Modern Horizons 3. Welcome back everyone, MTG Moxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on my channel today. Now we are talking of course about Modern Horizons 3, an upcoming set that's less than 60 days from release. And with the leaks we've recently seen, there's been a deluge of all kinds of these Eldrazi cards hitting the board, and it lets you know that it looks like they've gone big time in bringing back the Eldrazi from the blind eternities to your new Commander deck. Yes, I'm saying Commander, but of course it does still see play in Modern, so there's a lot to look at for players right now who may be thinking of purchasing some of these cards. And the sales figures are starting to show it. But before we get there, when you look at what we had last year with Commander Masters, and they gave us those Commander decks, and we had the Eldrazi deck there, you saw that they were kind of bringing these things back. Usually they have these kind of mini connections to let you know where they are going down, what path they are taking. And in this case, I know a lot of us were hoping we would get some new Squirrel cards, maybe some other stuff that was related to previous tribal decks, but when you look at the new Lagoif stuff we've seen, you follow that through with the Eldrazi, it looks like they're going to rely heavily on a couple of major tribal themes to get players involved in building new decks, which of course will involve getting a lot of new cards. It does make perfect sense. But what happens if all those cards are not what you're looking for? The original Eldrazi were far more powerful than anything we've seen when Wizards of the Coast introduced Annihilator. Now, of course, cards like Emrakul, Aeon of Tron is a banned commander card, but that doesn't mean it doesn't see play, and it doesn't mean that the sales aren't happening. Now, let me share something with you here, guys. Take a look at our first card. Here is Kozilek, the Butcher of Truth, and this is the Rise of the Eldrazi version of the card. Average price is $48.50. Okay, it's gone higher as high as 100 and something back in 2021 through to 2022. And after the reprints we've seen, it started falling in price. But what does this actually mean? When we start taking a look at the different formats of this card and where they're available in the game, you can see here that Kozilek, the Butcher here, he could be used in Legacy, Modern, Vintage, Commander, and of course you're going to play Kitchen Table with him. But I look at the card, and the fact he's got that Annihilator and it's just looking you in the face, Annihilator 4, the originals are just so superior to the later versions of the card. It's kind of hard for Wizards to backstep and make better versions of these cards because they were so overpowered, and there's lots of ways of cheating these cards onto the battlefield. But when you start racking up the sales numbers, and that's what we're talking about here, guys, the sales of cards like Kozilek are starting to rise. Over 200 sales happened on the weekend. It didn't make my top 10 video, but it is something I wanted to mention in this video, that there are numerous Eldrazi cards that are selling right now, and this isn't the only one. I'm going to share a couple more, but the thing is that a lot of these cards may be getting reprints. I know we saw a few cards like Oblivion Sower. It looked like it was inside of one of the Commander decks, so you have to be careful which cards you're going after, and look at the ones that have gotten the most recent reprints, because those are the ones that are less likely to come around. Now here's Ulamog of the Infinite Gyre. Again, this thing was over $100 back in 2021 through to 2022. And then, of course, lots of reprints happened. Wizards of the Coast tapped into that equity. But just like the card I shared with you, you can see you've got Legacy, Modern, Vintage, and Commander. Ulamog can see play in a lot of places still. And even with the reprints, this card has value. It hasn't been drained. It hasn't been obliterated. And players are still looking for it. But here's the thing. They're looking for it a lot more than they used to. Just like what I shared with you with Kozilek, this card has had a massive increase in overall sales. Instead of selling 1 or 2 a week, you see a card like this selling a few hundred copies. Now this, of course, it's in anticipation of what may be coming with Modern Horizons 3 and the fact that some of these cards might really start getting picked up a lot. But I think there's something there that players need to take a moment, take a breath, and realize there's been multiple printings of this card. There's a lot out there. And the price sustainability of this card is not going to go much higher. It's not going to sink too low. Unless Wizards did another reprint very quickly, chances are this card's pretty safe at the price level it's at. Now, what are the chances of it getting a reprint after we saw it just 1 year ago? I'd say it's 0. This isn't Wizards of the Coast style to reprint things year over year after they've already tapped into it. I think more likely we are going to see new Eldrazi cards being tapped into the market to draw the players toward buying the older versions, which of course will raise the price of those cards. I also noticed a whole bunch of the Tron lands being bought, and in that case, some of those weren't quite there, but over 1,000 copies of any individual one of those almost makes the list. And I didn't get those cards till way later. Until somebody mentioned it to me. I didn't take the counts. I did it yesterday, Sunday night, and I was like, wow. So when I did the video here on Monday that you're now watching Tuesday, I got all that data together, and yeah, the Tron lands sold massively. And those massive sales are not happening by accident. Those are players who have been looking at building Eldrazi decks after seeing what they have now witnessed in the leaks for Modern Horizon 3. It has players' imaginations and saying to themselves, I wonder what I can build. What can I create and which cards do I need to get my hands on? All the Tron lands are sought after at this point, but they're not commanding a high price tag. They've been reprinted, but being able to be played in Modern, being played in Commander, there's still a diverse crowd of players who are going to be purchasing a lot of copies of these cards. Do I think they're getting a reprint again? Not likely, but who knows? We don't know all the cards coming into this set, and we're not sure how Wizards of the Coast is going to connect those cards together. But either way, the amount of reprints we've seen mean it's not going to be a high-priced item you have to concern yourselves with. And that goes as well for cards like the Void Gorger. Commander Masters had this guy printed in the Commander deck, and of course the collector boxes, you could get individual copies of it. Any spell over 7, I think, gives your guys Cascade for the spells you're casting. It's not a be-all, end-all game card in a game. It is a fun card that does have to get dealt with. It's kind of a semi-mid threat, and you're going to want to make sure you notice it. But this guy is not going up or down in price. There are so many copies out there, and here's the thing. The boxes are selling. The sealed boxes of this Commander deck are selling a lot of copies right now. Locally, internationally, TCG player, take a look around. And of course, use my affiliate link if you're shopping. And you take a look at this and you can see the sales do add up. There's a lot of players purchasing. And that means the imagination of these players has been grabbed. It's been captured. I gotta give Wizards a thumbs up for that, because that is not an easy thing to do with the cautious Magic crowd we have. But when you're looking at the availability of these cards and understanding which ones are more likely to get a reprint versus others, you can save yourself time and money. You can pick up cards that you know are not likely to get a reprint, like the older Eldrazi, and you're going to hold on to those ones because they're more likely to hold at least and retain some form of value over the new stuff with the print runs we are likely to see. Wizards knows they've got something on their hands here, and I know a lot of players now kind of think the price is way too high for Modern Horizons 3, and honestly, I think it is too. I don't think they needed to price it this way, but Wizards is going to be aggressive. And when they're going to be aggressive, they're going to dangle some kind of bait in front of the player to get you to buy it. Now, normally, we would look forward to seeing squirrels as a tribal carryover theme. Players were hoping to see other things inside the set to augment their already created tribal decks that they can play in Commander or any other format you choose to play in. But when you see this and you go, okay, so they're going with the Goyfs, and we're going to be checking out some new Eldrazi. And I wouldn't be surprised if they throw some slivers in there. Because slivers are kind of slipping in the power level, they might try to ramp them up a little bit and make them a little bit more spicy. Be aware of this stuff because it's likely to happen sooner rather than later. And I think what players are paying attention to is a good thing. Be cautious, save your money, but spend wisely on the cards that you know you're going to retain for a very long time. Either way, I think we're in for something that a lot of players weren't expecting. You're in for a set that has a price tag that people don't want to hear about, but you got spicy cards inside it and the idea of those cards that could be either reprinted or new cards that can fit in, that just, it makes it enticing for players. And although I still think the worst is yet to come for products like this, I think right now we can all sit back and just enjoy the Eldrazi, enjoy the concept of what Wizards of the Coast is going to give us, and get a little bit excited about what's going to be out there. Whether you're going to buy boxes, whether you're going to do singles, go to a pre-release, or ignore this product in its entirety. The point is, Magic's an amazing game. And no matter where you fall in the spectrum of players playing this game, I hope you still enjoy the game as much as I do. I hope you get to play it every single week with friends, meet some new people, and enjoy the game. Because these kind of cards can make it a lot of fun to play. Thanks again, guys, for hanging out with me today on the channel. I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow with another video, and I'll be keeping a close eye out there for any leaks and spoilers. If you hear anything, send the Moxman an email. You'll find it in the description of this video. And thanks again to everyone again for tuning in. Have a great day today. Shop smart, shop smart. Where would we be today on this channel without mentioning the fantastic, amazing, loyal patrons of the channel? My YouTube membership members who tune in every single day, support this channel financially. Because of them, daily uploaded content happens. It's amazing, guys, to show that kind of support and to receive it from my end. So thanks again to everyone. I'll see you tomorrow again with another video. Okay, guys, welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. I wonder if Wizards of the Coast understands what they got on their hands here, because the amount of sales on these Eldrazi happening in the secondary market will raise the prices if it keeps going. If they give us some spicy Eldrazi in Modern Horizons 3, you're going to see a boost in the people purchasing the older Eldrazi, which means they could be reprinted again down the line. So a great little chain reaction of events. Something to keep in mind. But that's what the Ramble Jamble was about. I'm glad you made it, that there's something at the end of the video that you never knew was here. Or you're one of my regular people who goes, yeah, we know what goes on. We're that type of person. We show up to the end, we watch the whole video, and we make sure we know what goes down. Thanks again, everyone. Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow. Eldrazi. Eldrazi.